Hey guys, I'm Shade. I'm the host of Link Files and other shows that I've done. This is going to be a bit of a different video. First off, I have allergies, so my voice is going to sound a little off, especially with the coughing and such. But I figured let's take a little time to reflect. As of April 9th, the Wi Fi connection usage for the 3DS and Wii U is gone. And it feels a little surreal to say that because when the Wii its when its Wi-Fi functionality shut down, alongside other features like the Wii Shop channel and such, while I had the Wii, I didn't have any connection to using that service. So it hurt me a little, but I'm sure it hurt others as well, much more than me, because those were the people that actually use that service a lot. And when they used that service, I'm sure they felt very ecstatic about it. And I'm sure it also meant a lot to people who were able to be exposed to this new category of games for them, or categories, for probably a lot of Gen Zers. I was not one of them, but I'm sure many of my friends and other people from school and other places as such have definitely had that experience with them. And I'm very happy for them that they were able to experience that, even though I was not one of them. When the 3DS came out, I got it Christmas 2011 with Super Mario 3D Land. It's a pretty fun time, and I have since 100% of that game, and I don't feel any shame when I say that. Um, the footage you're seeing right now on screen is just my Pokemon collection from Pokemon X, Omega Ruby, and Sun. Sun is the game I got the most recent for Christmas, alongside Smash 3DS and Pokemon Rumble Blast. Those three games altogether are very fun. And I'm basically going to talk about my experiences with basically 3DS Wi-Fi, and I figured why not start off with Pokemon, because Pokemon is the series that I had the most fun with in terms of using the Wi-Fi service. GTS, the Global Trade System, I didn't use it as much until YouTubers started to send out free Pokemon. Funky Gamer 26, Mitsuki TV, and others. I've gotten plenty of Pokemon from them, and I'm very happy about that. They were able to help fill my Pokédexes and help fill my shiny Pokédex, which I probably am never going to complete. And with the Wi-Fi service shut down, um, basically, I will probably never be able to complete any of those Pokédexes, which is a shame. I'm not gonna edit out my coughs and such. You're going to feel the pain with me. But there was a lot to go into with Pokemon, because Gen 6 was probably considered the baby's first generation, probably because of the EXP share. Gen 5 and back, it was just an item. Gen 6, you just turn it on and everyone gets experience. Gen 6 and 7 basically just carry that, and I think it's now permanent in 8, 9, and probably 10 too. I don't have a Switch, so I can't really verify, but maybe you could clarify in the comments. But the main focus of the Pokemon games, aside from training up the Pokemon and completing my Pokédex, really was just Wonder Trading. Wonder Trading was very fun for me because I was able to find new Pokemon. You never really expected it when it comes to you, especially if it's either A, a shiny, or B, a legendary, or C, a legendary shiny. All three of them were the most surprising to me because aside from that, Pokemon from other generations that were not available to catch in the base game, those were fairly uncommon. And now going forward, I was able to really see that because a lot of the time they just retraded a lot of Zigzagoons, Young Gooses, and other common Pokemon. Primarily bird Pokemon too, but aside from that, it really felt a little strange to come into this video because whenever I started my journey, it was very strange to go into it because I resetted Pokemon X and Omega Ruby when I got those a lot. One of them, I happened to find a shiny Panpour, and I resetted that version too. But I'm not very picky about that. I'm not very regretful about that because I was able to get other shinies instead. And if I were to ever go back or pick up the other version, Y and Alpha Sapphire, I think trying to do that again would be an interesting experience because I first got Pokemon X in 2015, and then a year later in 2016 I was able to get Omega Ruby. Both of them, I believe, from the same GameStop, and I loved Pokemon X. It was very fun because while I didn't know at the time, prior to knowing about compatibility with the DS, if that weren't the case, I probably would have been a Gen 5 kid. I saw advertisements for Pokemon Black and White and Black 2 and White 2, but the only game from Generation 5 was Pokémon 2. Well, that game had its troubles and fun parts. It was a unique take that I didn't see a lot of games try with their series, and I applaud them for Poképark. And as I said earlier, Pokemon Rumble Blast. That game also, that helped me introduce to the world of Pokemon. But Pokemon X and Omega Ruby, those two were able to help basically like bridge the gap between knowing the Pokemon from Rumble Blast and then actually being able to play as those Pokemon in X and Omega Ruby. And speaking as someone who is not very versed in the realm of Pokemon and Pokemon lore, it was very unique, and that's something I thank the 3DS Wi-Fi for introducing to me. Being able to show me new Pokemon and being able to see how they look. Because I've gone back and seen that a lot of people really didn't like the 3D models that they used when compared to the sprites. And to be fair, that is a valid argument because some Pokemon do look a little dead, but really, I didn't really see too much forethought into being able to come and just have this video be done. I recorded the footage on my birthday. That was last Wednesday as of uploading this, maybe. And I got about 20 minutes of footage. So maybe I'll just ramble on for 20 minutes. Or maybe I'll just find a way to speed up the footage. But in any case, my experience with Pokemon Omega Ruby, however, vastly different from X, due to being able to refight traders. and then being able to just use the lucky egg alongside EXP share. My team right now is at a level 100. All 6 members and a few other Pokemon. I believe Volcarona, Hydreigon, and I think Rayquaza right now. And maybe more in the future. Even the Mega Evolution Pokemon. Speaking of Mega Evolution Pokemon, Pokemon ZA. That is an interesting one. They're going back to Kalos. And I wonder what's gonna happen, because I played 6, and I watched plenty of other people do Y. And then also watched plenty of people do Alpha Sapphire, and while I played Omega Ruby. Pokemon Generation 6 really was the backbone of my love for the Pokemon series. And I'm curious to see if and when I do receive or buy a Switch. Aside from the Splatoon series, which I've watched plenty of videos on, and I can't wait to play that series, I do want to see how bad or good, quote-unquote, Generation 8 and 9 are. But what about Generation 7? Well, I had mixed feelings when I first saw trailers. Back in 2016, 15-ish maybe. I saw those trailers and I thought, what? This looks great. They really upgraded from Generation 6's style. And I applaud them for that. I applaud them for being different. But when it came to the differences, I was very wary about what was going to happen and how they were going to change the formula. And I don't believe as of the main series they did that. But I remember in the Pokemon anime they did regional variants. And I thought, okay, so they're implementing regional variants. And that was something I enjoyed. Being able to play Pokemon that I played before, but having new stipulations to get. And that was something I really enjoyed about Pokemon Generation 7. I was able to play these Pokemon in a new, different way. Golem, for example, Ground Rock type, super whippy. Now Rock Electric, still kind of super whippy, but in a new sense. It was very different going forward. Some of the new other new Pokemon some of the new other Pokemon like Vulpix and Sandshrew. Who would ever think that those two would ever get regional variants? And interestingly, they were ice types, something that you wouldn't really necessarily think about. But seeing their evolved forms too, they looked really nice, and I applauded the idea that these Pokemon would have regional variants against them. Diglett is another example of a regional variant that I like, even though Dugtrio with a tear looks a little disturbing. But I also had the Pokemon Generation 7 demo. Unfortunately, while I was able to reclaim the prizes from that and get the Greninja too, which I had to reset once to see if I could get it again in game, so that was the only time I ever reset Pokemon Generation 7. Playing Sun for the first time in 2023 was very amazing, and I fell in love with Pokemon again. At that point, it was very stale, being stuck at Generation 6 for a while. And buying video games, we haven't done that in a long time. So, you can imagine going forward. When I bought Pokemon Generation 7, I went for Sun. Because I liked Solgaleo more than Lunala. Oh boy. It was very, very interesting to see how they were able to make these legendaries. They looked really awesome, and the Alola region was very cool. Character-wise, the characters were really nice. The player character too looked very cool, and it was great that they were able to have more customization options available. So, when it came time for the 3DS to shut down its Wi-Fi connection and such, as well as the Wii U, I was very hesitant to see how much I could go forward with playing Pokemon. And I was very fortunate to basically just have another session of Wonder Trading. Wonder Trading sessions were very fun, as I said earlier, due to being able to see more Pokemon that you weren't able to catch in the base game. But when researching for things I would need to watch out for in Gen 7 before buying it, the main thing I was very weirded out by, or just confused by, was the exclusion of the national dex. You were still able to have a national dex in Generation 7, technically, but without it in the base game, it just felt really weird. And when it came time for the Wi-Fi to shut down, I of course just had one last final Wonder Trading session within X, Omega Ruby, and Sun. It was basically my last little goodbye to the series, because it felt really strange now, going back to these games, not being able to do Wi-Fi stuff. Because Wi-Fi really helped make Pokemon be Pokemon in a sense. The GTS, however glitched up it was with its users, it was very interesting. And I reflect on on these experiences, and I say to myself, I'm also happy and sad that I was able to experience it. Being someone who's not in the in-group of these type of things, being able to experience it, I felt it was very special to me. I was happy to be able to, have the system, have the games, and have the connection to be able to play these games. So, I say goodbye to the 3DS Wi-Fi service, and Wii U Wi-Fi service too, but I didn't use that a lot compared to 3DS. In terms of 3DS, it's still the system I hold dearly to be most. Because while I did get the Wii U, and 3DS all on Christmas, on different Christmases to be exact, the 3DS was special. And it's a system that I'm still going to be playing and keeping around. I gotta get those play coins somehow. And it's something that I hope you, as the viewer, can take away. That even with your technology, even when you have your experiences, and while with other generations coming through and basically not experiencing what you did, it's still something that you should hold on to. Because in a second, while you're there experiencing it in the moment, the next, it could all just go away. And that's something that's a little scary, to be exact. It's scary to think that maybe one day you won't be able to experience that again. You won't be able to have that joy or find that spark that got you into something. And maybe for the best, it's not something you should try and recreate. Because in those type of experiences, it won't ever feel the same. In being able to find a way to perfect that moment, you'll ultimately just end up being lost. And that's something that I hope and that's something I wish to hold on to. And that's something I wish to hold on to as I grow up, and as the series grows up. In fact, as we all grow up, Pokemon as a franchise, it won't ever be the same again. But it's good to have change because it'll just feel stale if it just stays the same thing. So, as I turn 21, oh boy, that's a lot of years to be alive for, but as I turn 21, I wish to be able to hold on to this type of message that being able to be there in the moment is what counts. And what counts is that you were there. You were there and you had memories. Anyways, this is a bit of a different departure of a video that I usually make. More of those type of videos will come, but I just gotta take my time with that. But until then, I wish to thank you all, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, peace.